You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Subscribe to the channel if you love the NBA. We're trying to ramp our NBA coverage back up. So all you got to do, hit that big red button and subscribe. Let's start with a John Collins trade rumor that's been floating around there really in the last 24 hours or so, because a report has dropped that the Hawks are willing to take calls for John Collins, which is very interesting because he's a young player who's really, really talented. Having another good season this year for the Atlanta Hawks, only 23 years old. He will draw some major interest between now and the trade deadline. Hawks are 2 games below 500 at 11-13. They've got to figure out how they can best tool their roster around Trae Young. That is the priority in Atlanta. And if they feel like trading John Collins for some assets or for another player perhaps, they will be willing to do that, although I think keeping him with Trae Young makes more sense. Look at the year he's having. 18.5, grabbing 8 rebounds per game. He's shooting 56% from the floor as well, over 40% from 3. John Collins is a nice young big who can play the 4 or the 5, and he can space the floor as well. I like this kid. I think he's a good player. I think he's still ascending as a player in the National Basketball Association. So I'm a bit surprised. We'll see if a trade ends up happening from Collins to another team, but I think keeping him with Trae Young makes more sense at the end of the day. What should the Hawks do with John Collins? Type T for trade, type K for keep. I want to hear from you guys. Will they trade him or will they keep him? Go ahead and predict it for me in the comments section. Today's show is presented by Pro Flowers. Valentine's Day is approaching quick, and even if you see this video after Valentine's Day, you can still get 15% off all gifts and flowers at chatsports.com/flowers. Go to that link. It'll be in the comments. It'll be in the description. Get 15% off all these different flower arrangement options and some goodies as well. We got this chocolate tower. You can get the flower and chocolates combo. Tons of different stuff available, including these spa packages. Hook up your wife, hook up your girlfriend. Hell, send your mom some flowers as well. It'll brighten up her day. Chatsports.com/flowers. Best part about this, they're going to ship it all for you. You don't have to get out in the cold weather and battle the crazies at whatever grocery store or florist you're going to get some flowers at. Just go to Pro Flowers. Chatsports.com/flowers. That link will get you 15% off. It's in the comments and in the description. Let's get into the latest Lakers rumors and news. How about a Jerami Grant trade rumor heading to Los Angeles? This is an interesting one, and one we'll spend some time on here. NBA analysis threw this one out there. Now, there has been some chatter about Grant potentially getting shopped, and NBA analysis was like, we'll put together a trade because that's what we do. I'm intrigued, so let's talk about it. The Pistons are, obviously, they're going to be sellers. They've already shipped out Derrick Rose to the New York Knicks. Will they ship a guy out like Grant who's young and they just signed? We'll see. I definitely think if they get a good enough offer, it's something worth doing. I definitely think the Lakers, who we've talked about a lot on this show, will be very active at the trade deadline, looking to make a move to counter what Brooklyn did with James Harden. Now, Jerami Grant's having a career year. Almost 24 points per game, 5.5 boards, dishing out 3 assists as well. He's getting better and better as a playmaker. He's always been he's really been a good 3-and-D guy the past couple of years, but I like how he's expanded his game. You don't average 24 a night just as a 3-and-D guy. You've got to be a good isolation player as well, and he has certainly improved in that area, and he's the ideal guy to plug in next to a LeBron, next to an Anothny Davis, a wing defender who can really shoot the basketball and has improved as a creator as well. That's not his game, but he's at least capable of doing some of that, and I think putting him on a contending team, he was a huge factor with what the Nuggets did last year when they made the Western Conference Finals. I think Jerami Grant in LA makes a whole lot of sense. Now, should the Lakers trade for Grant? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I want to know what you guys have to say on this one in the comment section. Should they trade for Jerami Grant? Go ahead and cast your votes. Now, this is the trade proposal NBA analysis threw together. Jerami Grant and Wayne Ellington, another player we've talked about when it comes to the Lakers, heading to L.A. for KCP, Talen Horton-Tucker, Kyle Kuzma, Jared Dudley, and a 2026 first-round pick. Sure, we'll give you LeBron Jr. 6 years from now, although he'll be a third-year NBA player by then. But that's the trade package. I think it's intriguing. I think it's a good deal for both teams, so I'd be curious to see if this could be one that could go down for the Lakers and the Pistons. And you mentioned Wayne Ellington as well. He's one of the better three-point shooters in the NBA, shooting over 47% from deep this year. He's slipped as of late. He was leading the NBA at one point at 52, 53%, but 47%. This guy's a sniper, purely a catch-and-shoot guy, unlike Jerami Grant, who can create a little bit for himself. But I think if you add a guy like Jerami Grant and Wayne Ellington to the Los Angeles Lakers, that helps you win now. Sure, you don't want to lose Talen Horton-Tucker. Kyle Kuzma's still a young player, but Grant's not old either. That's a piece that you can win with for several years. He just signed a 3-year, $60 million deal. So if you brought him on board and added Ellington in the process, who cares about a first-round pick 6 years from now? It's going to be like the number 26 pick anyway. I think that's a good deal for the Los Angeles Lakers. Here's what you guys think. Who wins the trade? Type L for the Lakers, type P for the Pistons. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I think the Lakers win it because they win now, and the Pistons get some young talent, so it's not bad for them either. I think they'd want a little bit more for Jerami Grant personally, but I definitely think the Lakers win this one, so I'm going to go ahead and type my L. Now, if you're watching this video on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, we cover the Lakers all the time at youtube.com/LakersTV. Trying to ramp up our team coverage over there on the purple and gold. Dropped a video a couple of days ago. You can go check that out. A trade rumor around Kyle Lowry. youtube.com/LakersTV is the place to go. More Lakers rumors, news, updates, and a whole lot more. Go subscribe to our Lakers YouTube channel. Let's talk Anothny Davis here, getting an injury update. He's missed the past couple of games with Achilles tendinosis there. And this is not a super serious concern as of now, but anytime you read the word Achilles, you want to pause there, and the Lakers are being very, very cautious here, which is the right thing to do. Now, Davis returned to practice on Thursday. He's questionable for Friday night. We'll see if he actually plays against the Grizzlies. I would guess they probably hold him out for another game. But like I said, both parties here, both the Lakers and Davis himself, they're being smart here. They're being cautious. They're not going to play him if he feels any tightness, in that ankle, in that Achilles area right now. Here's what AD had to say on this one, saying this is just a different circumstance with it being an Achilles. If it was a quad or a finger or anything like that, wouldn't mind playing, but I just don't really want to play around with an Achilles. Smart. I just don't want to play a game where I still feel it and then I get hurt and now I'm out for the playoffs or whatever. And that's the right approach here, right? If you're Anothny Davis, you already had a shortened summer. I think they had like 70 days between Game 6 against the Miami Heat and opening night of the new season. There was already going to be load management for him and LeBron James, but now the Achilles is feeling a little tight. There is no reason at all, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, to force him back into action. You take your time on this. You don't rush it. He's having another great season. You just want him and LeBron healthy for the NBA playoffs. If you get the number 2 or 3 seed instead of the number 1 seed, who really cares at the end of the day? Not like they're fans right now anyway. There may not be for the playoffs anyway. So how concerned are you about AD's injury? Scale it 1 to 10, 10 being you're terrified. You think it could be the worst injury ever. 1 being, it's no big deal. I'm at like a 3. I'm not super concerned, but the word Achilles does make me pause. We've seen some major players in the NBA deal with that in recent years. I'll give it a 3. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get into the latest Golden State Warriors news and rumors. Injury update around James Wiseman. A little bit of not a setback, but not going to be ready when we thought he might be. Set to miss another 7 to 10 days, according to Steve Kerr. That's when they will reevaluate him. Been dealing with the sprained wrist. Hasn't played since January 30th against Detroit, which is kind of a bummer, right? Because Wiseman's been playing pretty well so far this year, but the good news is they did a recent scan. There's no, major damage or anything like that. It came back clean, but there is some pain there, which is what Steve Kerr talked about when he met with the media late on Thursday night. So we're not going to see Wiseman for at least the next week, potentially up to 10 days or more, depending on, if that pain goes away. Here's what Kerr had to say with his media session on Thursday night. He had imaging done yesterday, which came out fine. He's healing. Unfortunately, he still has pain. As long as there is pain in the wrist, we have to keep him back. We just have to watch him over the next week and see how he does. Hopefully the pain will subside. And yeah, look, James Wiseman is a major investment for Golden State, and this is still a raw prospect, right? He played three games at Memphis in college before the NCAA violations kicked in, and he decided to just opt out and get ready for the NBA. They took him number 2 overall, and he's been good, right? 12 and 6 in 21 minutes. Those are good per 36 numbers, if you round that up, that's, I'll do the quick math here, almost 20 points and 11, 12 rebounds. Pretty good for James Wiseman as a rookie, especially on a team that hasn't really played historically with a true center, which is what James Wiseman is. I think he's been better than advertised when he has been out there, but with the sprained wrist, you're going to take your time and, not force the issue, especially since Golden State, as of now, isn't exactly a major contender for this season. Now, grade James Wiseman rookie year so far. A, B, C, D, or F. I'll go B+. I mean, obviously the injury pops up, so that's a little disappointing. But when he's been out there, 12-6, he's been energetic, he's blocking shots. I like what I've seen from James Wiseman with Golden State. I was a skeptic when it came to him in his rookie season. I thought he'd be a little bit more raw, which he is, but he's been able to score around the basket. I like what I've seen. Go ahead and type your grades on that one. Get subscribed to the channel because here's the deal. More subscribers means more videos for you guys. The latest news, rumors, injury updates, whatever it is, game updates. We're going to cover it here on this channel. So hit that big red button and subscribe today. If we get more subscribers, we'll be able to do more videos just for you guys. Let's talk Steph Curry here because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but he looks like MVP Steph again, especially in his last 10 games or so. He's really hit his stride. I think he started this year 4 for 23 from deep through the first 3 or 4 games. Since then, he shot like over 46% from 3. He's been awesome. Playing at a very, very high level. And the reason I want to talk about this is I want to know if Golden State may consider being buyers at the NBA trade deadline. That's kind of weird to say because after the Klay Thompson injury, you're like, this year's probably another wash. You don't have your number 2 guy next to Steph Curry. Draymond doesn't look like the same player. Here's my thing, though. If you don't consider buying, you're just wasting an MVP caliber year from Steph Curry. He's not getting any younger. He's 32, 33 years old now. Look at what he's doing. 30 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 6 assists. He's shooting over 43% from 3, and that was after being awful the first 3 or 4 games of the season. He's been absolutely fantastic, and look what he's done the last 2 or 3 weeks, last 10 games. Over 33 a game, 5.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, over 51.5% from 3, and that's with all these teams they're playing knowing that he's really the only guy who can torch them. I know we saw the Kelly Oubre 40-burger against the Mavs about a week ago or so. Kelly Oubre ain't scaring anybody. Steph Curry is the guy that every team when they play Golden State is like, hey, they don't have Klay, Curry's the only guy who can light us up. Steph Curry absolutely deserves to be in the MVP race, and I believe the Golden State Warriors owe it to him to be active at the NBA trade deadline. Take a look and see what's out there because you're not going to get many more seasons of Steph at this level, in my opinion. Maybe 2 or 3 more years, maybe. I know his game isn't based on elite athleticism, but he's not going to be averaging 28, 29 when he's 37, 38 years old. And he's not that far away from being pretty old for NBA standards at this point in his career. So hopefully they do something at the trade deadline because I was like a lot of you. After Klay went down, I was like, well, this is going to be a punt year for Golden State. They might even be sellers. I'm starting to think they might be buyers, and that's because Steph Curry is playing at an absolute MVP level here in the 2020-2021 NBA season. What do you guys think? Does Steph Curry deserve MVP hype? Type A for yes, type B for no. I absolutely think the answer is yes, which is why I'm going to type my A for yes. If you don't think he is, if you're like, the Warriors stink, he's not worthy of MVP, type B for no, but he'd be in my top 5 candidates for MVP, so I'm going to type my A for yes.